Now, I'll remind the listeners that you were my go-to for recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you that I fucking hate this book.
Oh, God, yes, we did it,
This
guys.
has got to be one of the worst comics I have ever read in my life. I hate it so much. Oh boy, it's a time travel podcast. My name is Nate, and he pulls the strings that make this podcast perfection. It's Brian Martin.
Yes, from my perch in the 23rd century.
Making it all come together.
How are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm doing well this evening. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. I think that I'm going to drink tonight.
We need to get that on a t-shirt. I think that I am going to drink.
I see that you're knocking back a couple of beverages here.
Yeah, water being one of them, but but the other being bourbon.
Brownest of the brown liquors.
Yeah. Well, this is the only liquor that I have in the house.
Oh, man, what is it? Oh, Crown Blackberry. Ooh.
Blackberry Crown Royal. This is not just your bird dog whiskey that I'm usually breaking into. This is, oh, look, it comes in a
satchel, comes in a little bag.
Cloth bag.
Yeah. Crown Royal, that's when you know you got a good one, because it comes in that little bag.
If ever there was content that was worthy of breaking open the Crown Royal.
This is just to let you know what kind of person my dad is. On my son's first birthday, my dad gave me to give to him one of those Crown Royal bags with a pocket knife inside of it. I was like, Dad, he's one. Like, Jesus Christ.
This almost feels too fancy for the podcast. Crown Royal's kind of like top shelf kind of stuff, isn't it?
You put the word crown in front of anything and it sounds important, right? Crown Royal. It's kind of redundant, but okay. It's kind of like Pabst Blue Ribbon. Well, I mean, like, that's not very fancy.
That might be what this podcast is worth.
PBR.
Should I be drinking Crown Royal and talking about this particular comic book?
Yes. Whatever your feelings about it are, the answer is yes.
So tonight we are talking about Chrononauts Volume 2.
It was in early October that we read Chrononauts Volume 1 last year. And if you can go back and check that episode out, highly encourage it.
This has got to be one of the worst comics I have ever read in my life. I hate it so much. Blackberry Crown Royal. This smells pretty good, man.
I would have to.
I wish I could share it with you over the computer. I
can kind of imagine what it must smell like.
Just try, yeah. I guess I should probably just try it straight first.
Oh, of course. Yeah, don't put anything in it. I don't know what you got there to mix it with.
That's sweet. Ooh. Whoa.
Okay.
That is
you probably
sweet
do it.
Liquor.
Got to cut through the sweetness with something.
So Chrononauts Volume 2. Brian, can you tell me what it's about?
Whoa, wait a minute. Doc, are you trying to tell me that my mother has got the hots for me? Precisely.
Chrononauts, Future Shock. Written by Mark Millar. Art by Eric Canetti. With main series covers by Pascal Ferry. Color art by Giovanna Nero. Folks, Nate's favorite time-traveling jackasses are back.
God damn it.
Thanks to their time travel project, Doctors Corbin Quinn and Danny Riley are still international superstars. There is, however, something they haven't cracked yet. Traveling into the future. After their attempt to push forward in time in a ship shaped like a giant electric guitar, after that fails, a dejected Quinn is plucked from present day by Professor Cross, Quinn and Riley's instructor at MIT. It turns out that not only did Cross unlock the secrets of time travel a decade before his protégés, he has figured out how to travel forward in time and has made a nice home for himself in the 23rd century. And I do mean made a nice home for himself in the 23rd century, because there, alongside Quinn and Riley's collegiate colleague Bronwyn Moyer, Cross monitors history from this perch, tweaking events here and there throughout history to maintain his utopian society. And he'd like Quinn and Riley to join him, going so far as to preemptively relocate their respective families and even cure Danny's grandfather's dementia. The future's really cool.
Dude.
There's always a catch, isn't there? And this one might be too much for even the unscrupulous Quinn and Riley. In an effort to quell right-wing riots, Cross determines that they must murder a 10-year-old influencer in 2019. Quinn and Riley respectfully decline, crossing their former mentor, see what I did there?
Oh, yeah,
and threatening the delicate structure of the perfect future Cross has crafted.
Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, and I'm certainly not going to,
I don't know that you could.
make this my review, but I think this story benefits from introducing a more unscrupulous character than Quinn and Riley in the form of Professor Cross. Your team Cross, I know.
I fucking hate these two.
Like, kill the 10-year-old, Nate says.
These guys are, like, two of the worst characters I've ever experienced in any kind of media.
Nate hates these guys on a personal level. It's like he's met them in real life and he's like, fuck
feels
those
like
guys.
It feels like
it
it.
does.
You know what? You guys have met these people in real life and you've said, fuck these guys. You know, like this has happened to you, I promise. Yeah, no, these guys are total douchebags. And if it wasn't for the fact that they're the heroes, I could maybe live with them as characters if they weren't played as legitimate good guys.
If they were like supporting characters as part of a team.
Yeah, or just one of them was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, that guy's the douchebag, but
sure,
at the end of the day, heart of gold situation, or something like that.
I think, and I think that Riley, mostly.
Oh, God, no, Riley's the fuckwad. What?
He's a douchebag.
Corbin's the one that
Corbin's
at
the
least
douchebag?
has a family. Like,
Wait, whoa. So does Riley.
well,
That's the whole point of this story.
okay, Riley is still the frat boy where Corbin has tried to settle down. So,
True. Oh, yes. He's a family, like he has a family of his own.
yeah. Leave us not forget how he got that family, mind you.
This story does nothing to remind you of that.
No. He saved his family by basically defrauding his wife.
Right.
Go back and read the first volume, but he learns absolutely no lessons from his egregious behavior and gets everything that he wants in the end. Now,
I'm going to push back. I don't think they should go back and reread the first one. I think
point taken, sir.
I think honestly just read volume 2 and they're not as bad. Most of this shit happened in volume 1 and you're like, good God, fuck these guys. They don't just not mention what happened in volume 1. They want you to forget it happened.
That is true.
It seems like Riley and Quinn in volume 2 have some issues with going back and changing history.
Well, you see, they've learned their lesson, Brian.
Was it before or after the selfie with Da Vinci? Which, I gotta admit, that's a pretty good gag.
Yeah.
Riley wants to get a selfie with each famous painter that a Ninja Turtle is named after, and he gets a selfie with them, and they're saying Cowabunga.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
It can't be stressed enough how much I hate Volume 1 of this series. That being said, Volume 2 is immensely better.
Yes.
It's incredible how much better this book is than its predecessor.
I agree. Like I said, don't go back and read Volume 1, and you might come out of this thinking, well, they weren't that bad. I mean, I see what Nate's talking about, but Danny, saved his mom. There's all these, kind of almost good-hearted moments, like between Quinn and his family. There are nice moments in this where you see them actually be heroes.
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, what I would tell the audience... Comparatively is the best way to put that. And I think what I would tell the audience is that these guys themselves are still not particularly likable. The characters themselves aren't the types of heroes that I would choose to follow in a story. I mean, when I'm looking at this and just kind of flipping through, Danny Riley says,
"Dude, I am literally urinating myself with excitement."
That's where I messaged you, and I said, it's going to be 2 pages before you're like, fuck these guys.
Yeah, fuck these guys. You're absolutely
I read that
right.
And I was like... But that, I mean, in that sense, it picks up right where we left off. Right then and there, I was like, oh boy, here we go again.
Here we go again, yeah. The only thing is the misogyny isn't there, necessarily.
True.
There's a little usage in there that shows that they haven't exactly turned over a new leaf, but it's not as egregious.
Danny's womanizing becomes a pretty significant plot point in this also.
Right. That's kind of what I was leaning towards. But the story is much more interesting.
It is.
And I won't say that it's 100% because, like Volume 1, there are ideas in this book that are more interesting than what they do with it.
Yes.
So
getting back to proof of concept stage of
it is, yeah,
of storytelling.
So it's sort of like, well, why didn't you follow that idea? And I'm sure as we get into it, we'll talk about which ones we're alluding to. But even though it seems to me that they chose the path of least resistance and into something far more familiar than some of their other ideas,
right?
It's still leagues better than Volume 1.
I would agree with that. I think that visually there are swings taken in Volume 1 that just don't exist here. There are a couple really memorable visual moments in Volume 2. But I feel like every issue in Volume 1 had one sequence that was just like, holy crap, like in terms of just the visual dynamic of it.
Oh, because of the intermingling of eras, right?
Yes.
And like dinosaurs running next to Jeeps.
Joe Namath.
Yeah. And right.
Right? Like just absolute insanity. And this is...
But that's not to take away from the artist of this book, who...
No, Eric Canetti previously worked in animation before this.
Oh, okay.
Aeon Flux back in the 90s is where he kind of cut his teeth.
Yeah, just as you say that, I open to a page where somebody's eyes are wide open and you see their eyelashes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Eric Canetti's art here is quite good. I think most of the panels are in that sort of widescreen format that's kind of movie and TV calibrated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's taken several pages of flipping to find a vertical panel in here.
Yeah, it does. And also the covers by Pascal Ferry, also very good. Pascal Ferry does sleek, futuristic style really, really well, and I think it's sort of the series. The covers are really eye-catching. But,
yeah, and at first you think, oh, this guy's just trying to be Sean Murphy, but I don't think that's what it is. I think he's like as just trying to capture the feel of the first book, and he does it very, very well, but doesn't give up on his own art.
No, not at all. Like you said, like once you know this guy worked on Aeon Flux, a lot of these panels come into focus.
Make a lot of sense.
And it's like, oh, I see. Like there's a lot of weird angles. A lot of...
like fisheye lens kind of stuff.
Yeah, like a lot of weird foreshortening happening. There's that scene of Danny near the end of I think the first issue where he's standing next to a car and we're kind of at the ground looking up at him.
Oh, yeah.
It's just an interesting shot, you know, and like nothing's really happening there, but it's still really visually arresting. And the time travel effect looks much different here, but it's kind of, again, the same effect filtered through Canetti's style, where we see Quinn plucked into the future and his body's kind of warping a little bit.
Yeah. The only problem with the trade paperbacks is there are not page numbers to actually go to. So we apologize that we can't just kind of point that out. But we do have social media now.
Oh, yeah. I'll be posting some of these panels.
So definitely,
for sure.
definitely check us out on Instagram to see some of the things that we're talking about here, because obviously visual medium, and it's worth flipping through the pages if you can find them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I want to get back to, what you said about the story being better than the first one we got. The one thing that stood out to me really quick, and it's not just because you hated these characters so much.
Fuck these guys.
We
still.
talked about them
Still
before.
fuck these guys. But
who was the villain of Chrononauts 1?
Right. The heroes.
Right. Like, they're the villains. Really? I mean, but they're not. They're the closest thing to villains that first volume has. In this volume, we're presented with a story that feels much more familiar to us.
Yeah.
In that, their professor shows up, plucking them into the future, and he immediately looks like a bad guy.
Welcome to the 23rd century, boys. It's been a long time.
Right.
Like,
right.
Like, he's got those weird metal bolted glasses on his head.
Yeah. Can't see his eyes. He's got like pointy, angry teeth.
Virtually every image of him is a close-up of his mouth that is really disquieting.
Yeah, I don't know if they were trying to fool us into thinking this guy had any kind of
Like, look at that.
altruistic. Yeah.
It's just so nasty. Ugh, that is an Aeon Flux panel.
Do you ever read this believing that he has any kind of altruistic motive?
No,
No.
From the jump. He's the first character we encounter in this volume in the year 2008 at the ruins of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And this is the point at which he and his protege Bronwyn decide that it's time to start really tweaking with history and crafting this society he's trying to maintain in the future.
This is where the Eiffel Tower used to stand. That large ditch would have been the Seine, and the Trocadero 300 meters northwest. 2,000 years of glorious French history, all wiped out in a fraction of a second. Now poor France has its own 9/11.
But is it ethical to do what we're about to do, Professor Cross? To play God like this?
It's less ethical to do nothing, Bronwyn. We have satellite pictures of him leaving his hostel. We can go back in time and arrest him as he arrives, or even take him down before the boy gets radicalized. We have the technology to save 2 million lives. How many people need to die before it's right to alter history? I say we do this tonight.
I think having an instigation point like that we don't come back to for a little bit, eventually he mentions Paris and the guys are like, what do you mean? The Eiffel Tower was never bombed. And he's like, exactly, right?
Right, yeah.
But the way it's presented, once we're in the 23rd century with him, is really pretty interesting. There's this persistent right-wing riot that's threatening the city, and they have to quell that riot, but they don't go at it head on. They try to find moments in history where they can intervene and prevent it from ever happening to begin with, right? One of the ways they try to do it is by introducing Pong to human society.
Right.
To I guess make people more docile and just less willing to get off their couch. But
well, that was one of the most interesting things to me. Like that when I got to that part, I thought that is super cool. So, like you said earlier, you texted me, I'm on page 2 and you're going to hate this book. Page 2 is actually ground zero, where the Eiffel Tower has been destroyed by a nuclear device. And they specifically say,
Now poor France has its own 9/11.
Right? And I was looking for what's going to make me hate this. And yes, that makes me hate this.
That felt right out of the gate like one of those moments where Millar thinks he's way cleverer than he is.
Yeah.
And it's just like beating your head over it. It's like, we got it before you pointed it out. But it said September 11th, 2009 on the last page.
Right. And like, why even choose that?
Right. Like edginess for edgy's sake.
Yeah. The ramifications of this hold their own weight.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't need to allude to some horrible tragedy to tell us you're telling a story. I did hate that.
For what it's worth, Nate, I think that if this book had come out in 2002, he still would have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it would have changed anything.
I can't imagine much of the audience is actually going to go out and get this. So I think it'll be important structurally that we maybe follow this scene by scene.
Sure.
After that little prelude that we just talked about, that's when we're introduced with our heroes and their guitar-shaped time ship.
Look, this fucker is awesome.
No,
Guys, this fucking thing
Oh, God.
is so goddamn badass. It's
No,
a
wait.
giant fucking guitar
Now,
with a goddamn eagle painted on it.
Brian, are you
6 thruster engines.
stop it. Stop it. Now,
And there are strings on it that one could theoretically play.
now are you being I mean, clearly that's what they
no.
think.
In
Do
the
you
sense
think
of in the sense of if, say, 6 or 7-year-old Brian had encountered this as a cartoon in the 80s, that bitch better be under my tree on Christmas. Okay. If I'm a 6-year-old, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. As a 45-year-old, I've seen worse.
I hate it. The art makes it look pretty good.
The
What
art
I-
really does make it, yeah.
What I would say, the reason that I don't like this is because it plays back to the characters, right? Now, I've read Volume 1. If you haven't read Volume 1 and you don't know what terrible people these two are, maybe it plays a little more cool. But for me, the fact that they've chosen to make this thing a hot electric guitar, what kind of scientists? They go to MIT, they sleep through their classes and get A's on their tests, and they're just super geniuses, but they're also cool, and they also obviously hit the gym, and they get all the ladies, and like they're the greatest people in the world, and it doesn't come together.
Look, I think in one significant way it does come together in this volume.
Yeah.
And if you don't read Volume 1 and the only thing you know about Danny Riley is that he made this ship look like a goddamn guitar. I mentioned a second ago being like, yeah, if I were 6 or 7 or something, this would be totally fucking rad. But who is Danny? In this story, he is a guy who was deeply impacted by the death of his mother at a very young age.
Okay, that's fair.
Right?
Maybe arrested at that 6-year-old age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
I'm not trying to come up with justifications for these guys being douchebags.
Yes, you are.
But I do think this story makes an attempt, however successful, to explain a little bit behind Danny's immaturity.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Okay. I mean, I'll give you that, but
Well, I'm thinking of like Star-Lord. Star-Lord up there still acting like a 10-year-old.
yeah,
around,
no, I mean that's
you know?
fair. That
Yeah.
you're making, unfortunately, some good points. What I would say is that this is the same page that begins with,
You ready to go again, Danny?
Dude, I am literally urinating myself with excitement.
and I've got no interest in hearing that dialogue.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, nothing's changed. We're in for it again.
I don't like that these guys are
Popular?
rock star scientists that get all the ladies and stuff, and I just don't like them.
You know who I do like? The old couple that are watching them on TV.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to do it this time? Ah, who gives a shit? Don't wake me up unless it looks like Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
And then they come back at the very end and she's like, I told you to wake me up.
Yeah, exactly. That's a fun little gag. Basically, what they're doing in their giant guitar ship is they're trying to make it to the future. Because
Right.
for some reason, they can only go to the past, and it's somehow harder or different to go to the future. Now, that makes little to no sense to me, given that in Volume 1, they jump around all over the place.
Well, they come back. They don't go to the future, but they come back to present day.
No, I understand returning to a point of origin is not traveling to the future.
Okay.
But they go to the past and then they go to this future, and then they go back to this past, and then they go to that future. You know what I mean? Like they're dancing around all over the place. Now, if they came back to the point of origin, that would make sense. But otherwise, they are traveling forward in the time stream. If the volume 1 didn't exist, they could just be making this time travel is difficult.
Sure.
It feels like volume 1 shoots volume 2 in the foot so many times.
That's fair. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally get what you're saying. What it's saying, obviously, is just that relative to you, the reader, these guys can't go to the future.
Yeah.
They can't go to the 23rd century on their own.
Right.
Right.
Right. Now
they can go back and forth throughout human existence otherwise, but they can't go to the future beyond.
They can't go to their own future
where they're at and you're at right now. And that's kind of like a cheat. I do think it's kind of a cheat.
Especially since most time travel theorists believe traveling to the future seems more likely than being able to go to the past by time dilation and whatnot. So, like, the story would work so much better if, 1, volume 1 didn't exist, and 2, they were just trying to break the time barrier.
Right.
Well, come to find out that it doesn't work. Their big guitar ship instead travels to the past instead of the future and breaks apart in the time stream. Nice sequence here with the art.
Oh, yeah.
With the ship actually breaking apart and them having to eject into the time stream.
Intercut with, like, mission control, yeah.
Yeah. And then they end up in different places, different eras, different times.
That's kind of cool. In the span of, like, 3 pages, these guys were stranded in the past at various points, constructed a new time machine in 1506.
Right.
To get back, right? And then they come back and they've only been gone minutes, but it's been like a year.
Yeah.
For them, right?
I made a list of bullet points of things that I thought were more interesting than what they did with the story.
Okay.
And that was one of them. I think that the idea of going to the past and then somehow constructing a coal-powered time machine in the 1800s or the 1500s is very interesting. Stupid. It feels stupid. But I thought that was an interesting point that they just kind of brush aside as, well, you see, because they're the smartest people in the world and you'll never know anybody as smart as them.
Right. It's like 1 page.
Yeah.
It just happens.
It's just an anecdote. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They're trapped in the past, but for about 2 years story time.
Right.
And they find their way back. Now, the stupider part of this...
There was something really Rick Sanchez about it. You know? Like, this feels like a gag that would have happened on Rick and Morty.
Believe it or not, I don't watch.
He's a lot like these two guys, except not in a way you particularly want to emulate or make them seem cool in it, you know? It's like, although the fan base read it completely wrong, so what do I know?
Yeah, right. Corbin has built a time machine that's coal-powered in the 1500s with the help of Da Vinci, I guess, which is kind of neat. You know, like, I don't hate that they're using actual figures here. This is kind of fun.
Sure. I mean, Bill and Ted did it.
Right,
Why not
exactly.
us?
Right. Problem is that he is calling mission control off some jury-rigged cell phone that he has to say that he's okay and that they're coming back. Right?
Okay.
But he's doing it, like, on the cusp of getting into the time machine.
Affirmative. This is Dr. Corbin Quinn on a cell phone I've customized. Piggybacking on your 4D signal. Situation is positive, sir. Danny and I have survived the crash, and we're both in good health. I was trapped in the 1800s, and Danny was stuck in the Mesozoic age. 2 years had passed since we left on the mission, but we've both been building a brand new time portal in 16th century Italy.
What happened to your chrono suits?
Both destroyed. But we managed to cobble something else together since Leonardo da Vinci joined us from Milan. Our previous portal used nuclear fusion, whereas this one here is entirely coal-fired, but seems to be working perfectly.
So why don't you just...
Why just show up? Why are you calling ahead to say that you'll be there in 2 seconds?
I mean, that's fair. He is waiting on Riley.
Sort of, but
But it doesn't matter when you have a time machine. You're going to show up when
you have a
show
time
up.
machine. Like, there's no reason to call them. I guess only to show that he's so smart he can turn a cellular phone into a device that can contact the future. I don't know. That just seemed awfully stupid to me.
Maybe a page count thing.
Like, just for exposition's sake?
Right.
Yeah, maybe. All right. But when all of Mission Control assumes that the two are dead, Corbin's wife, Rachel, of course, has all the faith in the world that those two, they would think their way out of death.
Yeah, she's got a very high opinion of her husband.
Very high opinion. But, of course, they do make it back to the future, so to say.
Back to the future!
And then we're introduced to the backstory of Danny Riley that you were referring to.
Right, raised by his grandparents after his mother died.
Right.
A lot of what Danny deals with for most of this story, especially once Cross pulls him into the future and they start talking about tweaking past events, is, coming to terms with the fact that he can't stop his mother from dying, effectively, right? He can't go back and prevent the accident that she had.
Right. She was killed in a car accident where she drove, I guess, a sports car off the road or something.
Yeah.
And we're shown Danny traveling back to that moment to see the car pulled out of the ditch and kind of led to believe that this is something he does periodically.
Right.
With the wish that he could talk to his mother one more time. Now, this is all very interesting. I like the Star-Lord allusion you were making earlier. I like the fact that he's advised against it because if he saves his mother and doesn't get adopted by his grandparents, it changes his entire trajectory and time travel may not be invented.
Yes. Yeah. That being the big thing.
So the paradox around Danny Riley is another point that I thought was probably more interesting than the main storyline that they go through. Now,
absolutely. And especially by the end.
By the end, they come back to it. So this is only kind of like a half point because they do use this in their main narrative. But it's kind of a cool idea that for a long while the story gets away from.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay because they do come back to it and sort of tie it into the end in a way that I don't know if it's 100% successful or not.
One of the things I really like about this series over the first one is that even though I feel like it plays it safe a little bit more to its benefit, I think.
Probably.
Everything that it brings up comes back somehow. There's nothing really extraneous in this. Everything from the girl in the future that Riley's kind of macking on
flings with,
to Quinn's daughter insisting that she wants a bigger sister.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. Like she's like, I don't want a younger sister. I want a bigger sister. And
I want a big sister.
That's not how it works,
Right, exactly.
You simply don't have an older sister. All of this stuff kind of comes back later.
Right. The thing with this, however, again, another example of Volume 1 affecting Volume 2 adversely is if we have this idea that there is an inciting incident for Danny Riley's life that cannot be altered, the sheer insanity that they created in the first book by doing all of the things that they did lead you to believe that either the rules of this universe mean it doesn't matter, or if the rules of the universe are quantifiable in this way, then basically everything in Volume 1 would have fucked this up somehow.
Oh, what are the rules? What are the rules? What are the
That's it. The two almost feel like they can't exist side by side.
Exactly.
Without inviting that level of scrutiny. Because, Riley and Quinn are so reckless in Volume 1, and nobody seems to really care that much.
That's the point of Volume 1.
Right.
Is how reckless these two can be.
This one literally has a character telling you that changes to the past must be precise and intentional.
Yeah.
To result in a desired future.
Yes.
And I can't believe, like you, there's no way all the crazy shit that happened in Volume 1 could possibly happen without damaging multiple aspects of the timeline.
Right.
As I read this one, I'm like, I just kind of have to push Volume 1 out of my head and focus on what we've got here because you can't square the circle.
No, exactly. Volume 1 plays by a whole different set of rules, it feels like.
Yeah.
At any rate, the backstory for Corbin, maybe not a backstory so much as a current motivation for his attempts to get to the future.
It's just his current reality.
Now, I said before, I'm not sure what makes getting to the future much harder than being able to travel to the past.
Right.
But he can't seem to crack it. And he's sitting late at night, not coming to bed with his beautiful wife, when he finally realizes the reason that he's unable to travel to the future.
It's not because he's not smart enough.
No, of course not.
It's because somebody's stopping him from doing it.
It couldn't possibly be.
Right.
Of course it's not some failure on his part. Somebody's standing in his way.
He figures it out while looking at his daughter's train set and seeing some blocks that are preventing the little engine from moving forward on the tracks.
Right.
Like, a block!
It's not me after all. This is, again, another point that I felt, and probably the biggest point, that I find way more interesting than what they end up doing.
Okay.
The idea that, okay, I mean, I don't know how he comes to the realization that someone's stopping him from traveling to the future. It doesn't really explain that, except that you get to see both sides as he comes to that realization.
Right. You see him look at the train and the block. It's like you could just see that little bug zapper over Beavis's head.
but his Professor Evil Man, is speaking as like a narrator over him, saying, oh, he's about to figure it out.
He's about to figure it out, Bronwyn. 3 solid years of hitting the same wall, but now my favorite students are about to have their breakthrough. It's his little girl's train set that makes him realize what's been holding him back from going forward in the time stream. The bricks lying on the railway line, stopping it from completing its little journey.
There's somebody deliberately blocking us. My math isn't wrong. There's somebody out there deliberately obstructing what we're trying to do here. Are you watching me right now, you son of a bitch? Why are you stopping us? Why are you stopping us from doing what we've worked so hard for?
I told you he was smart enough to join us out here. I believe it's time to tell the man everything.
If you say so, Professor Cross. Quinn's House 2019. Just as he figures out what we've both been doing.
And that was an interesting idea. If, for some reason, traveling to the future is possible, but somebody's been stopping him, how? Why? What's he going to do about it?
Right.
And a thing that I thought the story was going to be about, this kind of cat and mouse game of finding a way to accomplish your goals beyond this blockade. Get around this blockade somehow. Start thinking in terms of, who is this other person? Why is he standing in the way? What's his motivation? And what do I do to defeat him? And I thought, wow, that's really pretty cool. And then I turned the page and he just goes to the future.
Welcome to the 23rd century, boys. It's been a long time.
Well, Bill and Ted at first, right? Like future Quinn and future Riley show up.
Corbin and
right?
Riley, yeah.
Hey, don't worry about it. You're in the future now, baby. Just ride the ride the wave there,
So it just seems like a lost opportunity. Why didn't they either linger on that for a little while or explain why he was blocking him in the first place?
Yeah, the question I have is, why didn't he just go back in time and recruit them to begin with?
Right.
These are 2 extraordinarily static people.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing in their life that's happened past the age of 6 that is going to drastically change who they are as people. There's nothing they've got to experience that will suddenly make them the good, dutiful agents that you want them to become.
Yeah. Exactly. Or ready for the goals that you have set out for
If
them.
anything, you took too long. Because if he had gotten them right after that first series...
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, they would have been like, kill a 10-year-old? Yeah, sure. Would you like me to kill her with a T-Rex?
When we actually get to what this evil Dr. Cross wants, they get plucked out of the time stream and pulled to the 23rd century. And like you said, they convince themselves to go. And issue 1 ends with evil man floating in a giant throne.
Right.
You know, like, boy, I wonder if this guy is benevolent or not.
Yeah, only benevolent people are ever viewed from a low angle looking up at them while they float on this dais above you.
Of a giant throne.
Welcome to the 23rd century, boys. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not exactly fooling anybody in this regard. But that is the end of issue 1. Some good setup, and the only problem is that why set up this difficulty, this constant difficulty that they've had trying to get at? They've failed 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
And then he realizes, oh, it's because somebody's stopping me. And then they just are there.
They've been waiting for him to realize that they're stopping him before they pull him.
Why?
Like he's got to come to some sort of realization. Did he not want it enough?
Right?
Did he have to be smart enough to know that somebody was out there?
Yeah, why do that?
It's like on Arrested Development when Tony Wonder hid in that restaurant cart until somebody said Wonder, and then he popped out.
God.
In there for like 8 hours.
Yeah. To say nothing of the fact that Dr. Cross is far enough in the future that he's essentially operating outside of time. So any instant that he decides to pull these guys would be immaterial to him.
Right.
And he doesn't have to sit around and wait for it to happen.
Sure. Right.
You know what I mean? So for time to chronologically pass for Dr. Cross in the 23rd century, if you wanted to argue that this realization that he's being blocked is what you have to wait for some reason. I don't know why you have to wait for that point, but if you do, there's no waiting involved when it comes to time travel.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense.
No. But we do open issue 2 with the explanation of what the future looks like and the motives of Dr. Cross, Dr. Evil Man.
Sure, and I think he's pretty upfront about making small adjustments to the timeline without really going into detail about what those adjustments look like. He's obviously a villain by if you weren't already convinced from the way he's being portrayed visually.
But why let the world think you failed?
Because only an idiot would share this kind of power. Have you any idea what our governments would do with it? Once I had all the funding I needed, I traveled back in time and erased my research. As far as my investors were concerned, I'm just another busted flush. But the reality, of course, is I'm living in utopia.
So this is where the world goes? Total perfection?
Only because I made it that way, Danny. Come inside the monitor room and I'll show you how it works. I run my CrossCorp company 16 minutes a day. That's all I need to be the richest man on the planet. This has nothing to do with time travel. I'm just naturally gifted in anything I turn my hand to.
By the time he says, I run my CrossCorp company 16 minutes a day, that's all I need to be the richest man on the planet, you're probably not a fan, you know? Like, let's face it.
Yeah, unless you were Corbin and Riley, who...
Right, they're like, cool.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. I could be that rich and powerful and awesome.
The rest of the day I sit here, and I look at the time stream, tweaking here and adjusting there, trying to create the perfect now by strumming the strings of the past.
You're interfering?
Oh yes, I'm constantly planting seeds where I choose, and reaping the benefits decades down the line. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't, but I'm pleased to say I've developed a future that's more Butt Rudges than Ridley Scott dystopia.
Yeah, the future that they've been pulled into is what everyone we're introduced to describes as utopia, right?
Yeah.
This is a future we would all strive for. There's no famine. There's no war. We're all driven by a science council rather than any kind of democratically elected governing body, which in and of itself seems maybe not great.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a really good answer to to who governs who.
Yeah, I think the argument here is that at least there's a scientist in charge.
At least there are smart people in charge, but
smartest people.
Yeah, but smart people are not necessarily going to think about the micro scale of living. They'll think about the macro, right?
Right, one would think.
What benefits the most people, or what benefits society as a whole, and it's a dangerous slope.
Just logical. The needs of the many outweigh
the needs of the few.
Or the one.
But this looks pretty good at the outset, especially once Danny's grandparents come in and his grandfather is cured of his dementia.
Mm-hmm. Because hospitals are magic now.
Yeah, hospitals are magic, and boy, are they.
Yeah, wait till we get there.
They get to do some really magical things here in the third and fourth issue. But, I mean, it's pretty heartwarming, you know?
Sure.
Seeing Danny's grandmother reunite with her husband for the first time in years, really. And he says,
"Thank you for everything you did for me, darling. I know I couldn't find the words, but that doesn't mean I didn't understand."
And they embrace, and, like, it's that moment you long for every day when you've got a family member that is on a mental decline, whether it's dementia, whether it's Alzheimer's, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You know, you hope for those moments of just clarity that don't come, because that's not how degradation works.
Yeah.
You know, It's a great moment, and it really does, like this moment is supposed to, sell you on this future that Cross is presenting, right? Like, everything does seem better. Wow, look at all this. And it's like, that's why I said, but there's always a catch, right? And this is exactly the scenario where there's a catch.
And I think the book pretty much argues that, yes, this is a desired outcome. Mm-hmm. So regardless of what we find later in the story, by the end of the story, this is still the goal.
Well, yeah, it is.
This world, this utopia, everybody living in this environment is the goal. It's been achieved by Dr. Cross, and there's nothing wrong with it except how we get there.
Also interesting to me because this becomes a nature versus nurture story.
Yeah.
Ultimately, when we're dealing with the 10-year-old girl and what happens to her, it's like Cross's answer for everything is like, well, we've got to eliminate this and eliminate that and move this here and move that there.
Yeah.
But it's discounting. And maybe this is where Corbin's quote-unquote growth has happened. You know, now that he's a parent, his response to this isn't like, we've got to eliminate this 10-year-old girl. Maybe we just need to present her with a different set of circumstances. If only Hitler's dad had hugged him enough.
Yeah.
It's that old
there's
argument.
An argument. Yeah,
you know?
I mean, there's an argument for that. Like, maybe if he hadn't gotten kicked out of art school, we'd be in a different place. But
what a loser.
Yeah. But before we even get to the 10-year-old girl that the story focuses on in its climax, you mentioned Pong earlier.
Yes.
And the word balloon here is...
We had a far-right political riot last night, but we figured we could neutralize it by adding a video game called Pong into the time stream, circa 1972. The riot, of course, never materialized as a result, and I suspect you don't remember a time without Pong.
Now, this, believe it or not, is one of the coolest word balloons in the whole book to me.
Sure.
When we talk about a time travel podcast, the idea of how any little moment can affect time and the world.
A culture.
Yeah. We're talking about the 23rd century. And somehow they calculated back, looking at all the potential scenarios, and this little dot game where people know what Pong is, right? You know?
Sure. Everybody knows what Pong is.
It's basically video game tennis, right? And the most rudimentary sense was introduced in 1972 and had a ripple effect throughout the time stream that quelled a riot. Like, these are the
That's
big...
cool.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
big picture stuff that is just, these are the types of things that I want from this book and that I really enjoyed.
That's the kind of butterfly effect stuff that is fun to think about when you're engaging with time travel.
Exactly. Yeah. And another one of the ideas that I was just like, man, this could get really cool. I love it. And
yeah,
2 panels later, we get the wristwatch-sized time machine that's voice activated.
Yeah, the time gauntlets.
The time gauntlets, which I guess is what we'll probably be ranking later.
So you know what I would rather rank.
What, do you want to rank the guitar?
The Time Hawk. Oh, shit, yeah. Let's rank the Time Hawk.
God, you know, I don't think we'd find a middle ground.
The Time Hawk is incredible.
Sure. So, issue one, we had...
Look, would it surprise you one bit if this government today said tomorrow, we've got a time travel device and here it is, the Time Hawk. And it's a spaceship that looks like an electric guitar, and that's what they're traveling back in. That would not surprise me one bit.
As long as it's gold-plated.
Oh, yeah, I guess it would have to look really gaudy.
Yeah, it'd have to be... Ugh. At any rate, yeah, the whole idea of the Time Hawk was that their chrono suits weren't enough. They were supposed to, like, double the power of their chrono suits or something. I don't know.
It would have worked if Cross hadn't stopped it.
Theoretically, you're right, yeah. But Cross has time travel localized to a wristwatch, and you don't even have to dial it or configure it. You just tell it where you want to go. Not even like date and time and longitude and latitude, just...
Quinn's house 2019. Just as he figures out what we've both been doing.
Take me to a day after this thing happened.
Which is how part of the story resolves itself in a pretty clever way, I think.
In a clever way, yeah, for sure. I guess it depends on how precise you decide to be with your verbiage.
The next big thing that happens is this alien invasion, which kind of comes completely out of left field for us because we, much like Corbin and Danny, aren't aware that there are aliens yet, right?
No.
But there's an invasion army out here led by Admiral Brax. Of the Croc-Hog.
I did not realize that was his name.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably did when I was reading it, but I'm just picturing Brack now.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Brack.
But Dad, I'm a growing boy. I need fish.
This Brax is big. He's got like horns on his head, this metal armor all over his body.
His
And
spaceship is cool as shit.
His spaceship is really, really cool. It's like almost like a space station.
Yeah.
Like a space array that just shows up there and fighter ships come out of.
There's a smaller panel after its introduction that kind of makes it look like a skull.
Mm-hmm.
You know, made me think of it as like Brainiac's skull ship. Remember that thing?
Yeah, that's a good comparison. But yes, it's
if
when
you know that. What is it, from the 80s?
Yeah. It's when it shows up like a hologram in their base on Earth and they're looking at it.
That's where
it's
it looks like a
glistening pink. And it looks like a giant skull. It does look a lot like Brainiac's ship, yeah. But Riley's in the team that goes out to confront it.
Because now he's a fighter pilot, too.
He's a fighter pilot, yes. And he immediately ejects from the ship and, as Cross says, goes to fight the spaceship with his bare hands.
Yeah. Well, Cross has called the fleet back because
Yes.
they've decided they're going to try and defeat this guy by changing the timeline, which, if you have that at your disposal, sounds pretty much like winning.
It's like winning.
Yeah. Yes, it does. And to his credit, Danny's got a really great idea here. He uses his voice-activated time gauntlet to go 70 million years into the past, to which Admiral Brax is like, what?
You know what?
What?
Not what?
The whole vessel goes into the past and appears above the Earth when dinosaurs roamed the world. And then he says,
You want the Earth? Help yourselves. But it's going to be a long time before anyone else shows up.
and he's out.
Yeah.
Danny dips, goes back to the future, and the invasion force is stopped. Why didn't anybody think of that sooner?
Well, he's a super genius.
Lovable rogue super genius.
Clearly he thinks differently, because the pages immediately prior, he says,
Wrong, sir. This is a dream come true. Now stand back and watch a rock star at work. I'm gonna beat the shit out of these guys.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of these guys.
Right.
Fuck these guys. I
That's
swear to
true.
God. Like, as
That's true.
cool as this story can be, the end of issue 2 ends with, I'm going to beat the shit out of these guys.
That's my boy up there, bitches.
Like, all
That's
right.
true. Yeah, yeah.
He is reassured by his friend Corbin there that, oh, well, if Riley's doing this, he's got a plan up his sleeve. He's got an idea. And as you mentioned,
Turns out he does.
yeah, not a
Really
bad,
good idea.
Yeah, not a bad one either.
That's my boy up there, bitches.
Although, who knows how that affects the time stream? What do you do if you're Admiral Krang, or what's his name? Brax. Do you just start making your way back to your planet? Or
maybe.
Do you
Or maybe you
settle
just-
on Earth and just change everything? Or
How much could you possibly change back there? What if he's the thing that caused the death of the dinosaurs now?
Mm-hmm. Or do we think that Brack is going to not survive the Ice Age? I mean,
Yeah, probably not. I don't know.
in space,
It's a calculated risk.
I don't know. This is,
But really, the reason he's back there is it's a seed planted for later in the story.
yeah, and a good one. Like, I'm giving it some
is a
shit
good
right here, but it's actually pretty cool.
That's my boy up there, bitches.
And now, what did you think when Riley comes back and Cross says to Bronwyn, "So,
Well, what do you think?
Same two cocky assholes I remember from university.
Yeah, that's right.
Nate's like, "Yep,
Yep.
that's it."
Absolutely. I would touch on for a second here, after he leaves Brax in the past, his voice-activated command to his time gauntlet is, back where I started, please.
Yeah.
Is it just know what you're thinking? Because when did you start?
Define started.
Yeah, define started. You mean like just from this last jump, or back to where I'm from? Or like, there's so many ways that you could take that. I don't know. I guess maybe the machine just kind of thinks with you. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we got these like smartwatches now. I assume that by the time we get to the 23rd century, these time gauntlets have to be pretty intuitive.
Yeah, intuitive would be the word, I guess.
So issue 3 keeps going, and it's more of them just on these missions to kind of attempt to change the course of history with regards to these riots.
Right.
that are
Dr.
happening.
Cross has offered them a job on their science council, controlling the outcome of the future to the utopia.
That does not go as they planned, but it does lead to a kind of amusing moment where someone in 2019 stops them for a picture.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a good point, because while I want to mention that the time ship that Riley is flying back in Vietnam looks like a hot rod, with
It does.
to the point where the engine is exposed through the hood, and it's
Yeah,
got
I think there actually is a Star Wars ship that looks just like that.
yeah, it's the Mandalorian ship, isn't it?
No, you're thinking of those Naboo N1 starfighters. It does have a little bit of that. The wings and the ending in those kind of engines. It does look a lot like one of those.
Yeah, it's supposed to look like a hot rod here. The engine is exposed through the hood. It's got 3 big exhaust ports, and of course the screaming eagle painted on the side.
Mm-hmm.
But this page that we've gotten to here in issue 3, made me think that it's trying really hard to forget the past, because Corbin, as you mentioned, is stopped for a selfie and is really reluctant to do it.
Right.
Like, who are you and what did you do with the character of Corbin? This is exactly something that he would insist upon in Volume 1.
Right.
He would take all of the fame and all of the fortune, and here he even declines to do it and has to be urged to get in this photo with this person.
Yeah. That parenthood has changed him.
Do we think Mark Millar just decided that maybe he needs these guys to not be assholes?
Maybe he went a little too hard in that first one.
Maybe.
It is interesting because he doesn't normally back down. Normally when you get to the second volume of anything, it's cranked so far up that it becomes completely unpalatable. Like Kick-Ass 2.
Yeah.
Like Kick-Ass, I was like, yeah, this book is pretty good. And then Kick-Ass 2, I was like, nope, we're done.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if he got a studio note. Maybe this thing never got picked up because he was like, well, the characters aren't likable.
Well, I mean, I think the real reason none of this stuff got produced was because of Jupiter's Legacy. But maybe there's more to it than that. Chrononauts 1 felt like it was like, all right, I'm making a pitch. Chrononauts 2 doesn't feel like a pitch. It feels like...
There's a story.
Right, like, it's... And that's because, like, the Netflix deal happened in between, right? So he's not actually trying to get a deal anymore. Now he's got a deal, and he's trying to produce content that produces synergy with that deal, right?
Right.
So I think you're absolutely right. Presented with the characters from Chrononauts, those are two extremely problematic characters, and there's no way to just adapt them straight as they are.
No.
Without making them extraordinarily off-putting.
Yeah.
As we've experienced, right?
Right. The Vietnam mission turns out to be more inconsequential than they anticipated. They were trying to save somebody's life in the middle of a war. Turns out that guy didn't matter as much as they thought he did.
Right. Yeah.
Which is also kind of neat, you know, it's a trial and error kind of situation here.
Yeah, it's like none of this is precise.
You make the calculations that you can.
There's something very Ziggy-esque about it.
Ziggy.
Yes, Dr. Beckett?
You've made brilliant theoretical hypotheses with minimal data over the last 4 years.
That's true.
I'd like you to do one now.
I don't think so, Doctor.
Why not?
I'm dealing with too many data limiting factors.
In terms of playing percentages and trying to figure out, okay, if we do this, then this could happen, and if we do that, then that could happen.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, that's,
you know?
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it in those terms. All they can really do is play probabilities, right? So
yeah,
they make an effort here. They think that this guy's going to make a change to the culture and the timeline to where the alt-right doesn't rise.
Right.
Is this book woke?
It feels weird to say it, but I think it might be.
Yeah, I think that by what we expect woke to mean these days, as
this was written in 2019, right?
Right.
Like this would be considered woke today,
for sure.
But back then, I don't know if that term would have been applied to it.
Right, except that the heroes are not woke. You know, they're clearly macho men or whatever. But
yeah, but even they have their limits here.
I feel
right?
like even as bleeding heart as I am, I felt maybe he's being a little divisive here with constantly calling out right-wing extremism. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
It's like there's a lot of people who probably would love these characters if you weren't constantly talking about the right as being evil. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, that doesn't seem to align with my point of view, where I feel like things have gotten a little out of hand today. But it was not lost on me that it seems like he's kind of thumbing his nose at a certain movement, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I agree with you. And even though it's only been like 5 or 6 years, the moments where we engage with those characters, and I'm specifically thinking of like the vitriolic statements that 10-year-old girl is making as the vlogger.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, like, even today, that feels like it strikes more of a nerve. I'm like, oof, this seems like something that wouldn't fly with half of your reader base today, Mark.
Yeah, even then, especially then, that's 3 years into the first Trump presidency. So we're in the thick of a presidential race, basically, right? I
mean, we're getting there on this one, yeah.
When this is coming out, so...
Yeah, it's pretty... I don't know.
I hate to get into any kind of political anything on this podcast because we want to invite anybody and everybody to listen. So I try my best not to be divisive,
Sure.
But this book, it seems like it's really thumbing its nose at half of its audience and probably the people that would really like it, you know?
Yeah, no,
based
you're not
on the
you're not
first
wrong.
volume. So I found that kind of strange. But as we turn the page here, it's Riley's up to his old tricks here in the supply closet.
Heck yeah. Again, this is important. This is very, very important that he's, stuffing this fine future broad in the supply closet.
Who's got like cybernetic stuff on her or no?
I'm not sure she's human.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's hard to know whether she's like is she a robot or cyborg or something? I don't know.
Yeah. But that leads to Danny lamenting the fact that he can't save his mother. We see the scene from issue 1 again with his mother in the hospital bed.
Right.
Right before Danny comes in to see her as a child. We'll see that scene
they come
again.
back to it. That's good that they come back to it at this point in the story.
I think the timing was really good on that because, we hit it at the beginning and it's easy enough to just kind of forget that it happened. But then hitting it there and then hitting it again in the final issue, it was like, that is exactly how you time that.
Yeah.
So,
no, you're
well
right.
done. Well
you're
done.
right. The thing that kind of gets glossed over here is fine robot chick having a relationship with him in the supply closet.
You know as well as I do we're banned from relationships. The professor insists on our total concentration.
Don't you think the prof's a kind of freaky control freak?
Shh! We're not allowed to say stuff like that.
There's the first crack, right?
That's the first crack in the thing that you've probably already figured out. But this is sort of the point where the story swerves into what everything does, which is Utopia Man is evil on the inside.
Doesn't have good intentions.
Or is misguided in his intentions. I mean, we're basically talking about the guy from Demolition Man, Cocteau.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
know?
The typical kind of thing there.
Like, I've created Utopia. Look at what I do or what I've done. And then, of course, my supposition was that, of course, okay, but Utopia is built on the backs of some kind of slavery that you don't see, or some kind of downtrodden society that's underground, or everything looks great over here, but don't look over here in the corner where people are being persecuted, and it's not that. But it's the same idea in that what you believe to be this shiny utopia is built on some pretty heinous acts.
Sure. Not the least of which is the murder of Marilyn Monroe.
Which is super duper cool.
Super cool, yes.
Ups and downs in this story. Like, there are points where you're just like, oh man, that's cool.
Because
the
Cuban Missile Crisis never happened.
Right.
The tensions remain well into the late 60s, and JFK is ultimately impeached, and LBJ, when he's the war with the Soviet Union takes like 5 years in the 60s, right?
Yeah, so LBJ ends up unable to handle the Cuban Missile Crisis,
right.
And the world falls into war. But
they
it's
kill
all
Marilyn
because,
Monroe.
Yeah, eliminate the girl so that JFK remains president, and they get out of that, and they
solve it in 13 days.
Yeah, they
just like the title
avoid
of that movie.
an entire war.
That's a really good movie. If you guys haven't seen that,
which one's that?
13 Days.
13 Days.
It's about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
That's not the 13th war.
No. 13 Days is about the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's an interesting historical event for sure. But I mean, that's one of the things that he points to as having done to preserve the future. A small price to pay to save millions, Corbin.
Because right after that, they blow them to Kingdom Come.
There's something we haven't discussed, and I want you to keep an open mind. It's not going to be easy, but we can't keep putting this off.
I'm not sure I like the sound of this, dude.
An open mind. Now, you've both seen the world we've created. 20 billion people. Everybody happy. No war. No famine. No real crime except for little pockets we go back and repair. Well, this doesn't come without the price sometimes.
Meaning?
We've isolated the root of this far-right disease, and it disappears entirely if we eliminate a political thinker. Her fascist video blogs are the starting point of all this, so removing her before she goes viral eliminates the problem once and for all.
So, our question for you both is really very simple. Do you have the balls to do what needs to be done here?
Is this a joke?
You know I'm right. One life to save countless in the future, because we know where the ideology goes, and it's a fascist takeover by the 25th century.
But we can't fix everything. Dude, maybe some stuff is just meant to happen, even if it's really bad.
Are you seriously willing to destroy the future just because you're scared to get your hands a little dirty? We've been doing these missions for the last 10 years. Even what you came from isn't how it always was.
And when they immediately turn this down because of their moral values that they suddenly have, Bronwyn pulls a gun and says,
Au contraire, mon ami.
To which I only listen to in
Gambit's
voice. But she does. She pulls a gun, shoots Riley right in the chest until it explodes out his back.
Bursts.
Yeah. It is rather gruesome.
And he's still sitting up.
And he's looking over at Corbin, who's been shot in the fucking face.
Point blank. Like just goop exploding out of the backside.
Seems like Bronwyn was right about you two. No vision at all.
Yeah.
Yow.
Yeah. And
then they're not done. They continue zapping poor Danny until he's like completely severed. His torso is
they blast him until he's in two
body.
pieces. Yep.
Yeah.
I will admit that this was shocking to me.
Yes.
But when I turned the page on this was not something I was expecting.
Even after Riley was shot, I was like, wait, what's the catch here? What's the catch? And then like Quinn gets shot right after that. And I was like, okay.
We do have another book.
They're just, by the end of it, they're just a pile of meat.
Yeah, and honestly, these are the kinds of things that make this a good read. You know?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it has sort of, by this point, devolved into a story that you've seen before. And you're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, evil man makes Utopia City.
But they still got some prizes.
Then you turn the page, and your heroes, quote unquote, are just decimated, and they leave them just a mess of blood and meat in the middle of the courtyard there, and make their way into the time stream to go murder a 10-year-old.
Right. This conversation that the two of them have is really just pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I know you've always hated them, but I'm actually quite sad about this. I really thought they'd get it.
Who cares? We'll find someone else. In the meantime, it's down to us to off this right-wing vlogger.
I hate the fact she's only 10. Why did she have to be a child genius?
Don't think about who we're killing, sir. Think about who we're saving.
That's kind of a neat line.
That's great. And so that ending, boom. That's a pat yourself on the back kind of script ending.
Right. They're out there to kill, again, an ideology. But in order for the people you're writing the story for to still paint these guys as the bad guys, you've got to make it a child, right?
Right.
Yet another super genius. This is just a book full of geniuses. Everybody is smarter than everybody else.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Wile E. Coyote. Genius.
But an asshole genius.
Yeah, they're all asshole geniuses.
All the geniuses are assholes.
Yeah.
In this story. So we open up chapter 4 here. We open up issue 4, and the bodies are still on the ground. Riley and Quinn are still just a pile of meaty remains. But, again, bringing these threads together, Danny's maybe human, maybe android girlfriend has to clean up and drags them into those med chambers that cured Danny's grandfather of his Alzheimer's.
Dr. Cross calls her assistant.
Assistant.
Doesn't give her a
Yes.
name. Is this because she's some kind of robot?
Yeah.
I don't... That's what it kind of is
Yeah, I
drawn
think she's
like,
just a thing.
but has feelings enough for Riley that she disobeys her boss there and takes them to the magic hospital.
Yeah.
I mean, this is feels like a bridge too far for me a little bit.
Yeah?
It's kind of like when they brought back Colin Firth in
in Kingsman?
In Kingsman 2.
I thought you were going to say Bridget Jones's Diary. It's like, why wouldn't they have brought him back?
The gel protects the brain. Then in the lab, we use nanites, microbots, to repair tissue damage.
The guy was shot in the brain.
Yes.
And because they put some gel pack over his eye hole, it built him back and saved him from a gunshot to the brain.
Healing them seems like a bit too much.
Yeah, it seems like a
Being
bridge
able
too
to-
far here.
I mean, like, what's left? You've conquered death at this point, right?
Exactly. That's a huge point. But we already know from time travel that there would be another way to bring these guys back rather than magical hospital. And at the time of reading, I was like, this is ridiculous. But by the time we get to the end of the story, it makes a little more sense.
Yes. Yeah. They don't just immediately grow back, you know? It does take quite a bit. I love how Quinn, having only been shot in the head instead of completely eviscerated, recovers earliest. And when they ask about Riley, 92% efficiency, his liver's still showing alcohol-related stress. And they're like, he'll be fine, get him out. Like, that's plenty. That's all we need.
Yeah, and no scars whatsoever when Corbin's face was blown to smithereens. Just as good looking as always.
Yep, just as chiseled.
We're then treated to a page of them suiting up in their chrono suits, including a zipper shot.
Crotch shot, yep.
Yep. And and a bro handshake with muscles like it's straight out of Predator.
You son of a bitch.
Well, that's how you know this is Act 3.
And that these guys are fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are ready for it. And then we meet our extraordinarily unlikable 10-year-old vlogger.
Right.
Who's, I guess, parents? Mom? Granddad? I don't know who these people,
Caretakers.
And immediately dispatched. But
Right.
don't worry, because help comes very quickly in the form of not just one, not just 7, but hundreds of Corbin Quinns fighting against hundreds of Professor Crosses.
You. Yes, me. Me too.
Yeah, that gets really cool. I will admit, this is
really, really neat.
Actually, the first action is for Dr. Cross to call in the reserves because Corbin has him dead to rights and is ready to beat the ever-loving crap out of him. And all of a sudden, 3 to 5 to 7 more Dr. Crosses come in, attack Corbin, and throw him out the window. And of course, he's caught in a net by 7 or 8 other Corbins.
Right. So it's like he already thought of it first. Like, 2 can play that game, Professor.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like calling in reinforcements from yourself from just a few moments ago.
Yeah, like they're calling in versions of yourself from slightly in the future.
Yeah.
To come and run interference, which leads to a really cool moment in terms of how the fight's resolved. It reminded me of the Burly Brawl sequence in Matrix 2,
Right.
When Neo's just fighting all of those Agent Smiths.
Yeah, except there'd be a million Neos as well.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not selling it well enough, but it's a super cool idea. Becomes basically a mob fight. Villains and heroes from different eras. But not even different eras, just different minutes and hours. But it does kind of call into question time travel again, though. When you pull yourself out of a time frame to come help in another, you can duplicate yourself.
It's like that scene in Bill and Ted where they're like, well, why don't we just put the car keys out in this bush tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because these are every single version of Corbin and Cross that show up are future versions of them, right?
Yeah, that's
that have already
true.
experienced this. So they're like, okay, now I need to go back. Now I need to go back. And they just keep piling in.
And the fact that we already kind of saw this by Riley and Corbin seeing themselves in the future once already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good callback.
Yeah.
I guess it does work within the confines of the story here.
Now, while all this is going on, Bronwyn's been dispatched to murder Corbin and Danny
again
in their college dorm room.
To prevent them from coming up with time travel altogether. Right? I guess.
Right. And this is where we get the great payoff for the Time Gauntlet.
The Time Gauntlet and the aliens.
Yes.
Turns out the aliens aren't just a pointless one-off.
Very cool, because Danny from the future has come back and intercepted Bronwyn's teenage self.
Right. Bronwyn walks in on them in their dormitory, and of course they're passed out from having drank their night away. And she says, "Getting wasted when you should have been studying. This is exactly what I suspected you were what you were doing over here."
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course it's going to make it easy for her to just pull the trigger on these two passed out, super genius, hot, sexy college guys.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny's gotten there early, intercepted teenage Bronwyn, and asked her to just say one sentence. That's all.
Computer, take me back to where Danny sent those aliens.
And because it's voice activated,
right,
future Bronwyn's time gauntlet activates, and she's transported back to the dawn of prehistory where those aliens showed up, and also in space where the ship is, so she can't actually talk and transport herself back.
Yep, because sound does not travel in space.
Yes. Great move there.
It is really cool. There's a bit of a standoff prior to, however. She's basically got her gun to young Danny's head and is basically saying, look, I'm going to kill him and you're going to disappear anyway. And that's when we reveal, oh, Bronwyn's teenager. He stopped by her dorm room. The only thing that's a little out of character is one would assume that Danny would have bedded her by now already, and that was why she came. Instead, she came at gunpoint.
That's a little altruistic of him, isn't it?
to
holding
force
her at gunpoint instead.
But you're right. So they sort of stand there, kind of a, what did they call it? A
4-dimensional Mexican standoff.
Yeah, that was kind of a neat idea. That's when he kind of pulls this trick out of his hat, and she pops like a balloon in outer space.
Yeah, I mean, it really does look like a balloon popping, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. In fact, what does Riley say as he's leaving? He says,
"Yeah, I know. I could have just shot her on the stairs, but you gotta admit that was way more interesting."
Yeah.
And from a writing standpoint, yeah, I'll give it to him. That's way more interesting than just shooting her in the back of the head.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Then we're back in 2019 with the brawl between the Corbins and the Crosses. And just when you think that Cross
has the upper hand,
has got him.
I hope you realize how much this hurts. I always saw you as a natural successor, so I take no pleasure in what comes next.
Sorry, dude. You're too late. One of my guys just shot you already.
What?
I didn't even mean to. I was actually trying to just shoot you in the leg, but somebody bumped me, and it got out of control.
So he found, was it the Prime Cross?
Yeah, but by accident.
The first cross in the sequence.
Yeah, just
found him.
Just lucky, I guess.
Yep. Zapped him, and then every future cross starts to vanish down the road. One by one by one by one by one. because they all cease to exist.
But it gives them enough time to have their kind of ideological heart-to-heart argument one more time.
Honestly, Quinn, have I taught you nothing? There's bigger things going on here than a quarrel between you and I. I accept the fact that you won't kill the girl, but we're talking about the past and future of our species now. Promise me you'll hide this technology and make sure nobody ever follows you in this work. The people can't be trusted with what we've discovered. We'd only have chaos if this science went mainstream.
I disagree. All knowledge should be shared. Isn't that the basis of an enlightened society?
And what if the future invades the past? Advanced cultures, wreaking havoc on primitive ones.
The exact same argument would have banned the sailboat, sir. I'm taking it back, and it's all going public. I'm totally convinced the good outweighs the bad.
Your problem is, you've got too much faith in people.
There's worse things to be guilty of.
Yeah, that's definitely something I thought Corbin Quinn had. Too much faith in people.
Right.
Fuck this dude.
Your problem is you're an asshole.
Yeah, right. It is something that we've glossed over here. I think the big point that Cross was trying to make to these guys was that they need to keep their discovery under wraps because it's too powerful or too important for the world to know.
Well, that's always the thing, right? This is too much for the world and it will end up in the wrong hands, but it always ends up in the hands of the wrong person regardless.
Right.
That's the catch with these things.
Right, and the wrong person is the one that wants to keep it all to themselves.
Right.
Yeah, so that was his big argument is, look, knowledge should never be saved for one person. It's got to be shared with the world. And that was the big standoff that the two of them had. But Cross is dead, and we think our heroes have won, and that everything is going to be hunky-dory. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Right. They go back to the future, and it's a post-apocalyptic wasteland now. We've gone from utopia to complete devastation.
And Dr. Cross was right, and most of the actions he was taking and the decisions he was making did in fact lead to the utopia they were living in. The alternative seems rather undesirable. In fact, from that point, they move 1,000 years into the future again just to see, well, certainly in the long run, our idea is better. But no, then we're talking about a nuclear winter by the time they get that much further. So we're led to believe that Dr. Cross had the right idea the whole time.
Yeah, because it all comes down to that girl, Sophie. She became an even more significant figure after the attempt on her life, and now her fascist ideas cover half the world. And that was in the altered 2019, and then they go into the far future, and it's just nuclear winter, right?
Yeah.
And so, Corbin, as it's been suggested a couple times throughout the story, when his daughter asks for, a big sister, he has the idea to take Sophie in and change her mind by spending a little time with her.
Right. Nature versus nurture.
Exactly. Right. We're going to put her in a better environment with a better family and show her there's another way.
Right. Which is a nice outcome, probably the right way to take the story. What I will say, though, is that this particular page where he kind of comes to that realization was a little confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Was it confusing to you at all? Corbin is making his whole pitch, this conclusion that he's come to about taking the kid in, and all of a sudden Riley says, "Of course."
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I couldn't agree more. But you gave me an idea for something else. I always thought even going back and talking to my mom would destroy the entire time stream, but I finally realized how I can pull it off. Trust me, dude, I'll be 5 minutes.
And then just time travels. And to me, I was like, oh, no, okay, so Riley's got a different idea for this girl that he thinks is going to solve everything and just time travels away. Turns out his thought train was completely different than Corbin's. Like, Corbin's talking about Sophie and this thing, and all it does is remind Riley about his mom and something that he could do for his mother. It seemed really, really strange. I was like,
it's more something he can do for himself, too, because really what he's doing is he's figuring out a way to go and spend a little bit more time with his mom.
Right. Okay,
there at
yeah.
the end of her life.
Yeah, good point.
Because he's not even at the point yet where he's like, I'm going to save my mom. His initial motivation there is to go back and see his mom as an adult right before she dies and say, hey, this is how I ended up. This is how things went. And so when we see that scene we've seen replayed a couple times throughout the story, again, now it's reframed because when she says, I know, she does, because she just had that conversation with her adult son, right?
I didn't think I could do this, but it's only just struck me that I don't change anything if we have this conversation here. It's just there's so much I want to share with you, and I didn't want you leaving without knowing how things turned out. I have this life I wish you could see, and I want you to know how happy I am. Grandma and Grandpa did a great job, and I thought you'd be proud of all my achievements. I love you, Mom, and I wish I could have saved you. But I hope this all helps, even just a little bit. Thank you for loving me and always being the perfect mother. I'd rather have had a few short years than never had you at all.
And it's a cool little moment. Thank you for coming to see me. And you think that's all it's going to be, right? For a minute there. But of course, we don't just leave it there. Danny comes back after that last conversation he had with his mother as a small child and takes her from the hospital, brings her to the future, throws her in the miracle hospital.
Yeah, right. Magic hospital.
Yep. And she's able to live an all new life there in the 23rd century.
With her parents in the 23rd century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a sweeter ending than I ever expected from this.
If you're going to build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
So I guess we have to rank the time machine.
Yeah, so we
here.
got to talk about this. Now, I was, my pitch was for ranking the Time Hawk.
Hey,
Jet,
we can
but...
do that if you want to go to the bottom of the ranks.
Oh, man.
Fuck
we
that
can
thing,
talk,
man.
All right, the Time Gauntlets make more sense.
Yeah, because they're somebody else's invention. Because they wanted to have a super awesome time space machine.
Right.
And they wanted it to look like an electric guitar. Because why the fuck not? These guys, whatever. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that he's time travel suits that are amplified by a spaceship.
You're leaving out the part where it's shaped like a guitar.
No,
I don't understand that. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point. The time machine is already the clothes they're wearing. What do I need the guitar for?
What if a giant mech shows up?
Yeah.
That's where I thought we might end up with like a Gundam, like playing the guitar.
Let's go back to the armbands. Well,
okay.
Let's use those as the time travel method that we're ranking.
That's fair.
Voice activated time
gauntlets.
Gauntlets. This is what they're called. Time gauntlets.
Yes. And I mean, the time gauntlets, not only do we have proof that they work, man, they work so well there in the climax of the story. So
how vague you're able to be. The AI that's built into this has to be very intuitive.
Sure, yeah.
Be to one day before the war ends, or one day after the war ended.
Go back to that place we were just a second ago.
Yeah, right. Like what?
Take me back to where I was, where I started. Like you can be really vague there. It's very.
Now that's
the system is obviously intuitive as a device. Like it can intuit from what you're saying.
And that's either a major draw. Or a major failing?
I don't know. I think it's kind of cool.
It's a draw? Okay. I don't know. I don't know that these are too super cool or anything.
No, I mean, they just kind of function.
Now, we gave the Chrono suits a lot of credit for the art.
Yes.
The time travel effect that's drawn when the gauntlets are used is pretty cool.
That space that opens up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of works like the Sky Bridge in Thor.
Yeah, it's a lot like that, like the Rainbow Bridge.
The Rainbow Bridge, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. This isn't ranking super high for me unless you've got an argument on its behalf.
No, I don't. Like, I think it's not as cool as the escape hatch.
Okay, so going down from there
would be Bermuda Triangle, photo booth, time travel transporter, subspace inversion, cryo prison. It's got to be somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, I don't like the subspace inversion thing.
Yeah.
And it seems strange to put something in between the subspace inversion and the time travel transporter, but I feel like that's kind of where this falls.
I think it is, because I think the time travel transporter is kind of the same thing.
Except it's kind of cool, and it looks like the transporters from the Star Trek movies, the TOS movies.
I would either put it before or after the time travel transporter.
I think I want to put it after.
Okay.
If it were me, I think I'd put it right there between the subspace inversion and the time travel transporter. Now, granted, the time travel transporter kills you.
That's true.
If you use it too often.
If you use it 4 times, you're going to go nuts. That's a really good point. That might make it cooler, though. Honestly. I don't know, but I also really like what they did with the gauntlets in this to get rid of Bronwyn.
To get rid of Bronwyn and the aliens? Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just an Apple Watch that listens to you. And
right. And remembers where you've been?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a new number 16.
Does that mean that the Bermuda Triangle remains number 13?
It does.
Wow.
And it's only got to make it through 3 more episodes.
I think it's going to have a tough time because I know what's on deck.
Yes. Yeah. The next episode, it might unseat it from the 13th slot.
I can admit that the next episode no one will listen to because it's something I want to talk about.
People remember this. I think there are fond memories of this.
Right, but usually when I've chosen the topic,
that's true.
Like our
that's
worst
true.
episodes. But I really want to talk about this. I haven't seen it in forever, and I need to watch it again before I actually talk about it. But what are we talking about next week, Brian?
The next episode is going to drop the Monday before Thanksgiving. So we're trying to keep the drive in mind, right? You're going to be listening to this. You're going to be driving home with your family. You're going to want something you can listen to with the kids in the car. And so what we want you to do before you come back is find a time with those kids to watch the 1986 Disney movie Flight of the Navigator.
Flight of the Navigator. Who out there remembers Flight of the Navigator?
It's got some of the first computer-generated sequences in it. It is the big screen debut of Sarah Jessica Parker, if you're into that sort of thing.
And why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, don't hold those 2 elements against it, guys. Flight of the Navigator. I haven't watched it in a long time either.
I can't decide now if you actually like Sarah Jessica Parker or not. What was that? It's like a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, I can't decide if I like her either. I have not watched this since I was much younger. So I'll be interested
it's a kids movie. I'm gonna watch it with Waylon. I suggest that you watch it with Miles.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it with Miles. We got some days off this week. We're gonna catch it at some point if I can convince him. That's the hard thing. I've got to convince him to watch a movie.
Well, I've been working on this for a while on Waylon. He knows that that we're gonna watch something for the podcast. I hope that people go out and read Chrononauts? I do.
Look, all I can say is, like, if it gets you in a comic shop, if it gets you to read comics, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Go check out Chrononauts 2. Maybe skip Chrononauts 1. Maybe breeze through Chrononauts 1.
You don't need it. You really don't need it.
The art is so good. Just, like, flip through it, soak it in. You absolutely do not need to have read Chrononauts 1 for Volume 2 to make sense.
Skip Volume 1, folks.
Yeah.
If you want my recommendation, skip Volume 1. Brian's recommendation is read all of Chrononauts because it's the best comic ever.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said, Nate. Thanks. Speaking of things I'm known for saying, guys, thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. I mean, you guys are obviously doing that. We had a real barn burner at the end of October there. So
yeah, thanks so much for the downloads and the listens.
Definitely listening there. Leave us some reviews where you can. Good ones.
5 stars only.
Yeah. Don't tell people we're out here reading Chrononauts.
Unless you've read it too.
And drop us a line at ohboyqlpod@gmail.com. Of course, follow us on our social media pages. We're OhBoyPod on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. I'll be posting some panels from Chrononauts 2 after this episode posts, so you can see some of what we're talking about there, especially with regards to the really disquieting close-up lip shots of Cross that occur throughout this book.
Or that goddamn electric
the guitar
ship. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, it'll be important to follow us on Instagram this month, I think, if you want to.
Yeah, so you can see how right I am about the Time Hawk.
Fuck that thing.
Yeah.
Definitely, so you get a sense of what we've been talking about for the last couple of hours.
Not for nothing, guys. We're recording this on the day daylight savings time switchover happens.
Got a whole extra hour. We should just keep going.
We're doing some time traveling of ourselves tonight.
Is it really 1 a.m?
No, it's technically like 12. Don't worry about it. Until next time, I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
And we'll see you in the future.
This is where I keep the clothes for all my different lives. I've got so many girls out there, I need a chart to keep track. In 1951, I'm dating a struggling young actress named Norma Jean Baker. You realize who that is? I'm living the life we've always dreamed of, Danny. Switch off that tracking device and you could live it too.
We've got money. We've got power. We've got armies at our disposal. What could be better than life right now? We need to go back and fix our mistakes. Back to the moment I first came back, and we can go home like nothing ever happened.
Forget about it. No wife, no family, no nothing outside of the lab? I screwed up my life for this bullshit project, and I'm not going back to nobody waiting for me.
So fix it.
What?
Fix your mistakes when you're fixing all this other stuff. You say you didn't make time for people. Well, now you've got the chance to be in 2 places at once. You never get another chance to show up for the dates you missed or the time you wish you'd spent with your dad. Just head back now and be there for all the time you were missing.
Are you serious?
Who's gonna know?
I fucking hate these two. These guys are, like, 2 of the worst characters I've ever experienced in any kind of media.